universe.
My name is Kelsey.
And I'm Kaylee.
And we're here to talk about mental health. And in particular, we're going to talk about
Obsessive Compulsive disorder and the correlated, at least in my case, condition of social anxiety. This is my story. Not hers. Mine. Hers.
So how did you first know, or how long have you known you've had a problem?
How
How did you first know that it was a problem?
See, this... Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to
I
explain...
know this is a loaded question.
This is a very loaded question. OCD, and there's another thing called OCPD, which is Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder. They're very closely linked. We exhibit essentially the same symptoms, except Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder, you don't realize that it's wrong and what you're doing is irrational. And in my case, I am definitely OCD. I'm very aware of when something I'm doing is weird, to a certain extent. Like, there's some things I do where I'm just like, I tap, and I don't necessarily realize. Like, I have a very classic manifestation of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, so when I was younger, it was very noticeable for me, because my number is 4, and if you suffer from Obsessive Compulsive Disorder and you happen to count or tap, you probably know what I'm talking about. So my number is 4, and so I touch everything with 4. I remember once I was 9, and I was in a 9 or 11, 12, somewhere around there. I don't like the fact they're odd numbers. And so I was in a store, and I had to go back and touch a sandal more times so that it was even. Like, right now I'm very hyper aware of everything I'm doing, so I'm more inclined to, like, tap more right now, because I did, but I was like 9 or 10. I was really young when I did it, and around the time that family members were diagnosed, because there's a hereditary link, which we can discuss probably not in this video, another
video, yeah, we can discuss that.
For me, there was a hereditary link, so that's how I knew enough about what I was doing to realize that it was weird.
Yeah,
because I later on developed like a whole safety and death mortality obsession. But my compulsions showed up first.
Right.
When I was younger.
And I remember a time when we were watching a movie, probably when we were around 11 or so.
Oh, I remember this.
And we were turning up the volume
I made you
on the movie.
The volume had to be divisible by 4.
Yes. So I think that was when I first realized that I was starting to get
That's when I
more
was
serious
crass about it.
Because before that, like, I mean, we've been friends for
14 years?
Forever.
13? 13.
So it was kind of one of those, I mean, we didn't really think anything of it, but by that time...
It's a habit.
Yeah, and by that time it was just kind of like, you know, this might not be quite right.
Yeah, because there's a difference between... I'm going to completely jump off from this, and I'm not really letting you question me.
That's fine.
But difference between like an obsession and compulsion and habit. So an obsession is in your head. You can't stop thinking about it. For instance, I will get into obsession modes where I'm turning a wheel. And, oh crap, I started it. You turn the wheel and the wheel just keeps going and you have to try to move the other way. So I obsess over that, or like I think something bad's gonna happen. Like I can't sleep most of the time because I'm afraid my tongue is going to swell up, I'm going to die.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Really
I can't. What happens to me in movie theaters? So like, if I'm choking and dying in the movie theater, somebody's going to notice. So that's why I hate movie theaters.
I remember you not liking IMAX theaters.
Oh, those ones are. That's just bad on its own.
But even I find them creepy.
Oh, I can't handle them. I get serious panic attacks. That's one of my triggers. Anyway. But a compulsion is something you do. So a compulsion is more of an action. It's something you have to do or to allay the obsessions generally. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes. And a habit is something that you do. Like, let's say you have a nighttime routine. Like, people who are obsessive compulsive can also have routines, and it's perfectly normal. Like, it's no more different than someone like, I brush my teeth before I go to bed. Well, I brush my teeth too, and for me it's not so much compulsion as just I have it to brush my teeth.
You want your teeth weekly.
I have never had a cavity. I'm keeping it that way. So a habit is just something you do that doesn't enter. In the case of somebody who's OCD, I don't know so much about OCPD because they're an entire other realm, but it's something you do that doesn't inhibit your ability to function on a day-to-day manner. Okay. Sorry, I'm very, as I said, I'm hyper conscious.
So how are you being treated?
Treated. In my case, I was ignored for a very long time. It was assumed that it was a habit because, like I said, in my family it is hereditary. So it was assumed that their habit picked up until I snapped, essentially. And then I went, and at my university they have free counseling services. Best thing ever, except they're so filled with people. It was a really long time. So anyway, but I went and I talked with a psychotherapist who then we discussed my options and what I was dealing with and stuff, and we tried to make some links, like we talked about, like my history and stuff, and made some links, and then I got a referral to go see a doctor, and I am on medication. I'm on Cipralex, 15 milligrams a day, which is a relatively new one. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm a total drug crusher. And I am. Well, because it's, not everybody necessarily thinks to use it because it is relatively new, but it is sort of a blanket drug. It's an antidepressant, anti-obsessional, and an anxiolytic, which is like my favorite word ever. And it's got like no side effects. So it's a fantastic drug. So if you're considering them, you should ask them about Cipralex, because you are allowed to ask your doctors and your therapist questions. So anyways, I was on medication. So I'm on medication and I am in counseling. I'm in ongoing therapy because I need to learn coping. Because as my doctor put it, medication in my case, it's like my field is all tilled and stuff, but I'm not getting any water. So the medication is what gives me the water, but I still have to keep my field tilled. So it's more or less, it allows me to till fields. I'm a hoe.
Okay. So how are you feeling about your recovery with this? Are you feeling positive? Are you feeling...
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling, I don't care. Because I'm so insensitive.
Do you find it a relief getting help?
Yes, because everybody freaking ignored me for years. I was like, no, you're making it up. So you never doubt someone. They will probably want to put a rock through your head.
This is something we mentioned in our introduction video.
Yes, we did. Anyways, so I was ignored for so long, and plus I was now, like, I could not physically function, and also because I suffer from absolutely crippling social anxiety disorder, like, I can't pick up phones, I can't go in stores. I'm getting better. That's part of what I've been working on with my therapist, is different coping methods. But, so yeah, I'm getting progressive. I'm very positive about the future because I'm getting better. I went on public transit by myself. I was not grossed out by germs. I'm not germophobic, generally, like, overly germophobic. I'm a little more, like, I can't touch certain things without disinfecting, like change. I can't count change without disinfecting. Because I feel and I smell the metal. And, you know, take a breathing, it looks like it.
We're not lesbian, we swear.
And, but yeah, I'm getting better.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Now, how
You have more questions, please.
have you found support? Who have you found support from? Basically, generally.
Like, well, in
Like,
my
have
case,
you gotten support from your parents
yeah,
or your brother?
like everyone's like family and friends and stuff. They're all really fantastic about it. See, the thing with mine is because it's so ongoing. There's a lot of things that it's just kind of, oh, that's just Kaylee. So I didn't, and I'm quite happy with the way I am, especially now that I have a name for it. That was a big thing for me. I wanted to know there's a name for it. There's a reason. It's not so much that I was ashamed of it or anything. I'm just like, I need to know because I'm very focused on names.
Yeah.
So I had to know something was wrong. So it's just been kind of like, I guess more or less the big things that everybody else does is they give me a kick in the ass to get going. And like, they will, like, people going with me has been incredibly helpful. But yeah, I've just kind of found it everywhere. But it's not necessarily quite to the extent that some people would find. Just because, in my case, because it's just me.
It's part of
I'm
you.
me. And it is very much, it will be with me forever to an extent that some things aren't necessarily, like it will, because it's a biochemical thing. I will never not have it in me. Change in the manifestation, but it's just me. So my support is just people being around me.
Yeah.
Why am I slouching so hardcore? Oh my gosh. I know, it's horrible.
Just
I like
teasing you.
lean.
Well, you're leaning as you're talking, and you're being very, like...
I talk with my hands. I'm French.
I was gonna say Italian. You kind of remind me of Italian.
I'm French.
I know.
I'm supposed to be angular.
Cartija!
You're French too. Why don't you talk with your hands?
I don't know. I'm just...
You're not as French as I. Because we both shit
I'm just not as French as she is. That's kind of Italian.
That was very Italian. I was very Parisian, not even like North Ontario. Anyway, I think that's about it. Do you have any more questions?
What's that about? Covers it.
Alright. Cheers and good luck. We'll put information in our
In the
pants.
Alright, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.